We continue right here live on Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani, Gene Collier on the Borders and Borders hotline of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Co. You can join the conversation right now. Call us. Let us know what you think. On Twitter, we also have this in from our friend Jay Pogresny. Jay, I messed that name up. As a fellow Italian, I should get it better.
Okay, he's your friend. He's not going to be mad.
It's Jay, but he informs us the Flyers won again, so they are still ahead of the Penguins. They win in overtime against the Red Wings 2-1. Anaheim is leading the Rangers right now 2-1. But, you know, the problem when you fall behind in this system, we've talked about it before on the show, Gene, is these the so-called system of loser points. Because even though you could win a game, you can still give points up to another team. I have often said, and I will always say, if you win, you get 2 points. If you lose, you get zilch. And that's the way it is, regardless of how you lose. Do you like that?
I like that system.
Because it's hard to come back, isn't it, when you're down deep in the standings? Especially if you win a game, but it's in overtime. You know, like I have in front of me all these records. Hold on 1 second as I check. New Jersey has 8 ties. Okay, that means essentially 8 losses.
Right.
Philadelphia with 8. So
you're saying
those are losses, and those are 8 points that you shouldn't have, in my opinion.
I agree.
Anyway, let's go out to line 1. That's Marilyn in Munhall. What's up, Marilyn? How are you?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime.
The Penguins have had an outstanding penalty killing unit for the last several weeks, and I was wondering what your opinion was about what turned that around for them.
Well, they've always been pretty good, but they've been really good of late, Marilyn. Thanks for the call. In fact, tonight they were again perfect, I think. They've given up just 2 power play goals in 13 games, Gene. That's really good production. Carl Hagelin's reemergence here has really helped. He's not scoring goals necessarily, but his speed and getting to his game, so to speak, has really helped the Penguins.
Oh, absolutely, and you know they've used Sidney Crosby to kill some penalties. At one point, they were 17 for 17. Both really, their special teams have been phenomenal. Based on the success of their special teams, really is surprising that they're not farther up in the standings because everyone you listen to will tell you that special teams are so important.
Yeah, they are. Penguin power play has been outstanding all season long. They need to get better at 5-on-5. Also tonight, for the first time, we saw Ryan Reeves scratched, a healthy scratch. Because I think Mike Sullivan felt that the speed game of Carolina needs to be negated with more speed. But, you know, I think it's tough. Ryan Reeves comes here and he hardly ever plays, and when he does, he doesn't do special teams, period. So if you're not on the power play, you're not on shorthanded, those are minutes you're never going to get, which means when you do get into the flow, it's very limited action.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ryan Reeves, but I've said on this show before that I don't know where he fits with this team. I mean, I know it's his size, his physical presence, and all that kind of stuff, but I never thought this was a team that necessarily needed that. And I think he really kind of took them away from their personality in the first half, and I think it's still evident that they really don't know where he fits.
Let's go out to line 4. We have Chuck in the South Side. What's up, Chuck? How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. I just wanted to know, what's your opinion? Everybody talks about the Penguins have been, they're almost out of the playoff picture, but I look at all the good teams in hockey this year. The Blackhawks they were one of the best teams. They're in last place in their division.
Yeah.
Then you got Edmonton. They were supposed to be one of the best teams this year, and I think they're out of the playoff picture.
Yeah, they're not good right now.
Ottawa was in the Final Four last year, and I think they're out of the playoff picture. And so why is this why are all these good teams having such trouble this year, do you think?
That's a very good question and very observant of you to make that call. But, Gene, he's spot on. These teams that you would expect to be Edmonton, it was supposed to be Pittsburgh, Edmonton in a final. Well, Edmonton's under 500 right now with the talent they have. Chicago's just, maybe it's too much hockey over the last 8 years for them. I don't know. Ottawa, they have a lot of talent in Ottawa, and yet they can't get the job done.
Yeah, well, you know, every team's got their own stories. They have their own injuries and their own issues. But this is exactly what the league wants. The league really wants to see the Penguins struggle right now because they've won 2 straight Stanley Cups, and the whole purpose of the salary cap and the financial structure is so that every team can have a chance. You know, Ottawa was within a goal of going to the Stanley Cup final last year against Nashville.
Ottawa goes out, yeah, and right now their record is 15-21, and they go out and acquire Matt Duchene, and they try to, re-energize. And for all the talent, and they do have a lot of talent, they just have not been very good, especially 5-on-5 this season. Let's go out to line 3. We welcome in Bill in Greensburg. Bill, you're next up. Go ahead.
Hey, Bob and Jane, how are you guys?
Hey,
well, thanks.
All right, real quick comment and a question to you. Last year, I was season ticket holder down by the dugout. I'm not renewing this year. But I asked Frank Coonley, who sat a section over from me, I said, come on, you guys got to sign McCutchen. He's the face of the Pirates. He looked at me, and this is a true story, guys. He rolled his eyes and walked away from me. I mean, you talk about arrogance. It was unbelievable. But the second story I wanted to ask, or question I wanted to ask you guys, did you see the article? It's a sports magazine where Bob Nutting today was rated the 4th worst owner in baseball, and the words they used constantly was cheap. I'd like to hear your comment.
Well, I don't think you're going to get much of a disagreement with us here. It's interesting the people who he's ranked ahead of, though. There are just 3 teams. One of them is the Mets, and they have co-ownership. The Marlins, this is a new owner. He just got there. But the first move he does is ship out Giancarlo Stanton and gets nothing in return, led by Derek Jeter. And then you have another surprising team to me is the Peter Angelos and the Orioles. I thought Baltimore was better than that. Did you?
Well, Baltimore's gone a long, long time without being in the postseason. They may have the second longest streak next to the Pirates, I think.
But it wasn't necessarily because of spending, though, right? They gave Davis a massive contract. Manny Machado has been arbitrated.
They have spent, but they've had some made some bad moves too. I mean, the only surprising thing about that poll is, as Bob, I think you were alluding to, was that he wasn't 30th.
Line 4 is our next destination. That's Clearfield, and we have Bob. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Hi, Jim. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Just to follow up to your earlier comments, you know, before he left to take a position of the Boston Red Sox, AAA manager Andy Bartlett said that, in his opinion, there wasn't a single position player in a Pirates minor league system who could hit 20 home runs at the major league level. I thought that was an astounding comment, but at the same time, if you look at the potential, what they have is probably bears it out. And another interesting point. You know, is that the Musgrove and Crick, the 2 guys that they got in trades, were actually first-round draft picks, but in the same year that Garrett Cole was drafted. And now he's been established in the majors now for at least 3 full years. And the guys he got, they're just trying to get themselves back into the major leagues. So I think it says an awful lot about what they have, what the potential of these people are. So as your earlier call was saying, he said it's an organization that took 20 years to put a winner on the field, and just 2 years to basically destroy it. And I think, as the gentleman kind of alluded to, it's a baseball franchise now that is fallen into a state of irrelevance, and that's going to take a long time to get.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate that. But I saw those 2 guys, same draft. That's interesting. You trade the guy who's had the most success of any of those #1 picks for guys who haven't, essentially.
Right. And
there are reasons for it.
Yeah, and it underlines, too, our theme here, that you cannot tell what's going to happen with these prospects. I mean, I don't know why we pay so much attention to it.
Well, because everyone has lists, and we are enamored with lists.
We love lists.
We love lists. Let's go to line 2. Joe in Gallitzin. Hey, Joe, what's up?
Evening, Bob and Gene. As usual, it's always a pleasure. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Good, thanks.
Good. Bob, I'll just follow up on the Pirates here. It's not my main question, but I will say it's a shame what they've become compared to what they were when Clement and Stroger. I remember when I was a kid, they were a pleasure to watch. Now it's just a shadow of what they were. And, Bob, I want to mention something. Speaking of Bob, this Bob Kraft character up in New England. I'll be honest, it seems every time they show this guy's picture, when the Patriots in dire straits, it looks like it's almost going to be the brink of defeat for them. Then they come back. It's like they show his picture on TV, and shortly after that, a play called a goofy pass interference, conversion on 3rd down and long. I don't know if there's some kind of conspiracy there, but I know something's wrong up there.
Well, they get all the calls. Gene, you must have a comedy routine based on this. You have to, with all the stuff that goes on in New England.
Well, I mean, conspiracy and the Patriots, they do seem to go together.
But you have to say this. When you look at home games in the playoffs, they do get 90%. That's the number I saw in an article. People went back and looked at their games. 90% of the calls, in terms of amount of penalty, like this past week, there were 9 penalties on Jacksonville, 1 against none on offense or defense. Don't you find that weird?
Well, it is. Well, I'll tell you this. Jacksonville deserved every one of those.
I'm not saying
penalties.
that.
Yeah. I mean, they made some really stupid plays to draw all the 98 yards in penalties. There's no forgiving that. But yeah, I mean, time and time again, you see things going on the field, especially holding in the offensive line. Also, defensive pass interference. They do not get called for things. But, you know, that's one of the things you have to outplay.
And on that note, we're going to send it to break with this note. Al Riveron is coming back for a second season as head man in the replay booth. Hello, this is Al Riveron. We'll be right back after this.